And as the sun sets over beautiful Toronto, two of our teams are only just now getting started. They are fighting for a spot in the semifinal. Dallas Fuel and Florida Mayhem could be punching their ticket to the semis right now. I am going to be so excited to find out which of the teams will move forward. Dallas Fuel, we've seen some great looks from them thus far, but we weren't entirely sure if they have been truly tested just yet. They were running with the Zarya comp, something we expected to see from them. But if they're going up against the Florida Mayhem, is this going to work for them? Will they be running with this again?
This will be a completely different test. Yesterday we saw them just like demolish the Soul Infernal, who tried with this Doomfist composition. Now you have Hanbin on Zarya, on the Dallas Fuel, trying to force this composition against a Florida Mayhem that can play the Sigma, they can play their own Doomfist, the Winston composition, really all kinds of stuff. So Dallas Fuel, they are experts when it comes to this composition. Eerily similar perhaps to the Lona Spitfire rocking the Reinhardt composition. And it really is going to tell us whether this Zarya composition can bring home the championship for the Dallas Fuel, or if they will have to adapt moving forward.
And I think the adaptations are going to have to come thick and fast because they're going to be up against the Florida Mayhem. Someone, for me, has been a highlight of this entire season, able to handle any tank in Overwatch 2 at the highest level, no issues. So I think in contrast to what Fuel was able to do yesterday, play slow, poke it out, now you're up against Merit, you're up against someone. They're going to be able to pressure you so much harder, and I feel that Dallas is going to have to get aggressive. They're going to have to put pressure on the backline of the Florida Mayhem because Florida just has too many shooters and they like playing these slow comps. They like poking it out. And I wonder for Dallas, can they replicate their success if they're forced to play a Genji, forced to run in with a Lucio? And I think against Sig and Bastion, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to be aggressive and take the space away from Florida, and they don't make it easy.
No, they really won't. And as we talked about this team time and time again, you always have to mention the versatility we're seeing. I think they will be happy to take any mirror or go way out there. They've been showing up with some interesting comps throughout the season, and I feel like if there's one team which is willing to switch things up for the playoffs, it's got to be the Florida Mayhem. They have been so creative and versatile.
Yeah, I mean, I think that versatility is their biggest strength, right? Aside from their personal strength or their mechanical skills, it is their teamwork plus their versatility that really gives them their color, and that's what they're good at. And I think that's what makes Florida Mayhem so scary.
You know, I think the Rein comp is even something they could pull out, right? They tried to run it against Houston on Lijiang Tower. It didn't work there in that matchup, but I think Rein, historically, a great answer to Zarya. Doesn't mind getting grabbed all the time. It can be okay. Rein can sometimes survive that ultimate ability. And so I think for the Dallas Fuel, it's going to be many different styles coming at them based on maps. I think a team like Florida, you better believe they've got all their map picks prepped. They're ready to take you on some new wild ride, Gunba's wild ride, right? Every single time they get a map pick, you're going to be up against something unexpected and difficult to figure out. So hard to answer in a playoff scenario when the pressure's on.
Yeah, speaking of maps, actually, can you walk us through which would be the ideal maps here for Dallas, or what they want to avoid, rather?
Well, I think you pretty much have to like hedge towards the maps you're having the most success on in practice, because with the Florida Mayhem, like you never know what they're gonna pull out, right? So for this Dallas Fuel team, you just gotta do what you're comfortable with. There's no like joking around here, because Florida Mayhem, they will have one composition for every map. They can bring out the Reinhardt, that, like Jake just said. So not only, okay, you gotta take them down on the Sigma composition. Okay, well, they're gonna flex over to the Reinhardt composition. So this Dallas Fuel team, they gotta be ready every step of the way to face something different. At that point, just hedge towards what you're the most comfortable with. So the maps we're going to see from Dallas Fuel in the map pick, that's going to be their best maps in the pool.
Yeah, and sticking to the comfort zone has been something which worked out for teams like London Spitfire very well thus far, not just in the playoffs, but pretty much for the second half of the season. So I'm going to be super interested to see what we're going to see from both of those teams. For now, we're going to take a look at our Preds. I had to go with Florida Mayhem. They're just so much fun to watch. They're explosive, they can play aggressive, but they can also really play it slow and defensive. I think the fact that they can switch it up and play so many different compositions is going to give them the upper hand here.
Florida Mayhem could play it all. They're unpredictable, and they're fun to watch as well. I'm going with the Florida Mayhem as well. Someone, I love you.
I've got to take Florida here. I think they're the favorites for the tournament right now in my eyes. I think they can handle all these different comps that are being played in the playoffs. This is the first time in Overwatch professional history we've ever seen this kind of diversity in a playoff. and I don't think there's any team better situated to make the most of that than the Florida Mayhem. They can play it all, and at the highest level, they're not pigeonholed into any comp the way pretty much everyone else in this playoff is.
I'm too going with the Florida Mayhem here, and I agree with Jake. I think Florida Mayhem is the team to beat. I think Florida Mayhem is the best team here in Toronto this weekend with a chance to win the championship. And this is just another step in their path.
Well, they certainly got our votes, and I know for a fact that there's a lot of Mayhem fans in the crowd as well, so I hope they get loud and rowdy. For both of these teams, Dallas Fuel, of course, a championship-winning organization, which is trying to get that title once more, so let's see if they can get it done. One of the two teams will advance to the semis. Let's find out who that might be, and for all the action, I'm going to send it down to Golden Boy.
Let's welcome to the stage, the Dallas Fuel!
Dallas Fuel, your reigning champions, let's not forget. And I do feel like people sometimes forget what this team is all about. Their coach is named Rush for good reason. This team plays fast, they play aggressive, and they're going to get into your backline. Yeah, they're playing Zarya, but Bliss has had a fantastic season on Lucio. He's going to speed boost this team all the way forward, and that might be something that Florida Mayhem aren't accustomed to.
And let's welcome to the stage, the Florida Mayhem!
Florida are the undeniable favorite, I think, today in this match. They can play it all. Yes, Dallas is an aggressive team, but no one has been better at weathering the storm of a Rust comp than the Florida Mayhem. I think Brig and Bap, that's their bread and butter. Someone's going to play the perfect tank for the situation. And then on this DPS lineup, Checkmate plays every single hero in the game, it feels like. And Merit, for me, one of the best hard hit scans in the world right now. And this is only his second year in the Overwatch League. There's so much more to see from Merit, and I think this match is a great start.
All right. It's time for our last match of the day. I want to do something a little bit different with the crowd here in Toronto. So if you guys will indulge me for a minute, can we do a little fun clapping? Let's try this out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Everyone up there. You guys standing over there. Go. There you go. Keep going. Faster. Do it. Let's go, because this matchup is going to be hype. We got two fantastic teams, Dallas Fuel facing off against the Florida Mayhem, and boy, oh boy, I couldn't think of two better casters to call the action than Achilles and Avril.
Thank you very much, GP. It is an honor to be back up here once again to dive into this cast. We saw the Dallas Fuel take down the Soul Infernal just yesterday. Now they have a significantly harder task in front of them. Florida Mayhem, a lot of teams would say now very much the clear favorites for the entire tournament. Now that Rain is out of the way, are they up to task? We're about to find out.
Up against the Dallas Fuel, as mentioned, defending champions here, and one of only two East teams remaining. Hangzhou Spark punch to take it into the top 4. And now Dallas Fuel, then we see if they can maybe do a little of the same, but their opponents very, very tough on the other end as expected.
Desk was talking about it. A lot of different things that Mayhem can do, but I don't think that they have to worry about figuring out what Fuel wants to do, because we know exactly where they want to go. They want to go for that Zarya, something that helped get them the win just yesterday. Hanbin back onto it, slotting in, just feeling that comfort right off the rip. But is that Zarya, as dominant and as scary as it is, enough to take down this squad here in the Mayhem?
And the Mayhem is exactly the opposite, mate. We look at stylistic differences here. You have essentially a one-trick team in the Dallas Fuel, but that's been working for teams like the Hangzhou Spark. They were able to ride that horse into that top 4. You have the Florida Mayhem, who are probably the most flexible team in this entire playoffs. They can play it all across the board. They have every single composition mastered. They have players in reserve as well to come through for extra versatility. Realistically, Florida Mayhem, they're the most well-rounded team. They're going up against Dallas Fuel, which might be one of the most rigid teams. However, in the rigidity is some masterfulness.
Oh, we already had another miraculous reverse sweep of the previous series. Maybe here for the side of the Dallas Fuel, miracles can happen again. Toronto, make some noise. Let's open up the gates and get this match underway.
No surprises on board for the Dallas Fuel. Hanbin on the Zarya. You got Edison on the Bastion as well. Mayhem, they showed us the Sigma yesterday versus the Houston Outlaws. 3 maps worth that looked damn good. Someone right in the face of Edison straight away.
Tons of damage there into the back line. Merritt going to be taken down to about half HP. Immortality Field going to be exchanged out. Sparkle going to be eliminated though. That first kill being found, but there's the trade back. Hanbin coming up with 1 MCD. Another. The tank now gone away from the side of the Florida Mayhem, but the inside track still there over onto the point where they're looking to get the cap.
Yeah, 3 members still alive for the Florida Mayhem. Hanbin looking to walk up here. Bliss might be taking too much damage. Barely survives on 1 HP. Has to be a little bit careful there. Dallas Fuel still needing their Edison Bastion to come through. Checkmate down is pretty big though.
Hanbin getting on top of him, managing to find that kill. Now the Immortality Field not going to be enough to save RuPaul. They burn through it so very quickly. Hanbin continuing to excel when it comes down to building up this energy. And it's a very fast take here for the side of the Dallas Field now in control. And someone, that kinetic grasp is not going to do a damn thing for you, son. He gets burned down with the help of Edison.
Yeah, the pacing for Dallas Field's been amazing so far. Hanbin in the face of someone. Can't really get too much damage done. Low on the ult charge so far. Has to save kinetic grasp mostly to block out the damage from Edison, but in situations like this, Hanbin on full energy can just run him down. MCD's been in the kill feed as well. He's got that ult available.
Trying to push their way forward. MCD, the window at the ready. RuPaul not quite there with one of his own. The push up, looking to utilize it, but there's the artillery fire in response to try to peel off some of this pressure. A bloody back and forth here with 2 members gone on the side of the Dallas Fuel, but the cleanup is there. Mayhem just checkmate left standing. He needs to be careful here not to show too much, as he will get caught for a late little stagger, and the Dallas Fuel maintain control.
That's brilliant for the Dallas Fuel. Again, they get their ultimates early, and they are able to use it. Mostly to successfulness for the Dallas Fuel. I mean, they want to push down Florida Mayhem right back into spawn again. That's how they want to be able to play. Put Hanbin in the front, keep someone behind. Now it's Edison's time to artillery.
The drop down, a bit of damage there onto someone, but not going to be too upset about it there. Shakes off the scrapes. Hanbin looking for the setup, lobs in the grab, managing to get multiple catches. Checkmate popping the dupe, trying to get those iframes out, but now the Immortality Field's been cleared out. Sparkle is swiping with the blade, doesn't find too much of anything, gets zoned back there by the Flux. Someone buying some space for his team, as Checkmate now looks to build up a grab of his own. HP bars low here on the side of the Dallas Fuel, everybody taking low. Blitz cannot survive, MCD and Hanbin the last one standing. They cannot stand for long. Flip will be there, Mayhem back in control as the team kill comes through, but it's 84% for the Fuel.
And everyone threw ultimates in that fight as well. It looked like a really good grab, but rally in play, Immortality there for RuPaul. Checkmate with the extra bubbles being deployed from the duplicate Azari. Meant so much good defensive prowess from the Florida Mayhem to survive the onslaught of the Dallas Fuel. That should have been probably a clean fight win for the Fuel. Couldn't get enough value on the blade.
Window v artillery, as we hear the ladder now getting opened up, and the HP bars are already so low, and hell rains down on top of the Fuel. Merritt collects 3, Chorong 1 on the back end, and they shut down that approach.
Catch-up time now, really important. Merritt finding a lot of success on the artillery. We saw that a little bit earlier on as well.
That's window lost. MCD burning it there in the fight, not ready for that much explosive damage. So now one of those tools to try to get the point taken away from them.
And RuPaul in position to find this next window as well. Dallas Fuel look like they might want to go coast here, might not have the opportunity to. They're going to get cut off by Merritt's damage.
Zone back, deflection going to be used there from Sparkle just to try to mitigate some of that, push it back over towards the way of the Mayhem. Immortality Field now going to be coming through, someone down low on HP, but Sparkle has been felled, as has Edison, the damage dealer's gone. The cleanup continues, and Florida Mayhem are getting that much closer to retaking a lead.
And this is the problem with Zarya sometimes as well. Now that you're in the spin cycle, losing fights, you're getting your energy reset to 0 every single death. It's been slow going for Hanbin now. He was able to really put the pressure onto Mayhem before. Someone looking for a new Flux and potential final fight offering here as well. Lots of ultimates online for Florida Mayhem.
See them lingering just around the corner here. Artillery from Edison can do some scouting. Someone looking to try to push up and maybe even cancel out that ult, but he cannot quite get it done. Duplicate now going to be through Checkmate again, putting another Zarya into the mix. The Flux dropping them down to the ground. Blitz and Edison, MCD. Everybody on the Fuel falling to the wayside as Hanbin. He'll get the grab online, but he won't get the opportunity to use it. 184% night market. It goes the way of the Mayhem.
Yeah, they had so much to play through there. The Florida Mayhem able to lock in the Fuel inside their own base, same as what we saw from Dallas Fuel earlier on in the round. But far more successful towards the end there. Shield in front for someone, Flux in tow, so hard for the Fuel to get around it. And as mentioned, once you start losing on the Zarya composition and you can't get the energy back up, your frontline damage really does start to suffer.
Now we move into Control Center to see whether or not this one can go the distance, with the Dallas Fuel potentially getting ready to tie things up. See Checkmate going to shift over here on towards the May. Someone bringing out the Queen. At least for the rallying call at the start, and now the Reinhardt going to be coming in.
And I think that's the other really good look. We actually didn't really get to see much of this from Mayhem previously, but Control Center, famously home of the Rhine compositions. And Mayhem, they practice this. They're just waiting for the right opportunity to bring out the Rhine.
And they've got Blitz locked into the corner, looking for the pin. Not quite going to happen, but it doesn't matter because Edison has already been dealt with. Chorong able to pick him apart. RuPaul as well, finding Sparkle. And Hanbin just trying to backpedal as much as possible, but the final shot from the Icicle will take him down.
Spark has to consider whether he wants to go towards the May as well, but Genji's actually pretty decent into the Ryan matchup specifically. Deflects 4 Merit on the Bastion as well. But this is a great look coming through from Mayhem. I mean, Ryan, it is a really good counter to the Zarya. We saw this even a year ago. Remember when Dallas Fuel very similarly rode the source of the Zarya on Han, but kickoff clash, losing to LA Gladiators when it was Ryan who pulled out the Ryan, and the same issues can still arise in this sort of matchup now.
Already though, RuPaul now. And Matrix at the ready, and he's going to utilize it. They push out onto the corner of the wall, raised up. Sparkle using the deflection, trying to buy himself a little bit of extra time, but Edison and Bliss already dealt with right off the rip. The cleanup continues. Back to the spawn room goes the Dallas Fuel.
And they're not getting anything done, unfortunately. Really low on the ultimates, completely slowed down. No one can get enough damage, and no one can get enough healing in as well. The team fights are going so damn quickly. The Dallas Fuel still lagging behind. MCD now only barely on 90. At least Hanbin's done a decent amount of damage. I mean, he just needs to hold shield, allow Merit to do most of the work. Checkmate, cutting off any sort of rotations and cutting off players from the Dallas Fuel as they want to walk up. This is the first moment for the Dallas Fuel where they can get out of spawn and maybe walk in.
Artillery opened up. Merit is painting the floor pink. Sparkle gonna get tagged down low. The Immortality Field keeps him alive for a little bit longer, but now the May ult is down on the floor, and once again it's Edison and Bliss dead off the rip. The cleanup continues to quick reset. Dallas Fuel realize that this is the last opportunity. They need to get this next fight, and they need to take the point.
I mean, everything Fuel want to do. MC puts down the window, instantly blocked out by the May wall. You can't shoot through that either because he layers it directly into the window itself. Follow that through with brilliant Blizzard coming through from Checkmate. Hard for Dallas Fuel to move around the map. Now they spawn camped again.
Grab is at the ready, and there's the sound barrier out in front of it. Chorong dropping the beat here to try to keep everybody alive. Artillery up on top. Edison able to find one. The Immortality Field going to be dealt with on the back end, but so far it's only the one casualty, and someone will get dropped. 2 kills going to be found here for the side of the Dallas Fuel, but they have to get their way over to the point. 94% right now here. As the cleanup comes in, they will be able to get this touch, they will be able to get this flip, but how long they can hold it, that's a completely different question.
I mean, Fuel needed that so badly. A big grab to come on through. Decent damage from the artillery to layer on top of the grab. But as you sort of mentioned, now they're lagging behind. The good news is Sparkle has Blade, which Chorong does not have beat. That is going to be a potential difference maker. Getting past MO Field is going to be important for Sparkle.
Very good early damage, and Sparkle's completely contained. Bubble comes in, Hanbin actually bails him out. They keep him alive. The Blade now going to be pulled, looking for a target, but Wiley is going to be zoned back. Now the sound barrier comes in. Hammer gets dropped. 4 people on the ground, and the cleanup continues. Pin into the wall, MCD taken down. And that is going to be the team kill coming in as Florida Mayhem will regain control. They will have the overtime bleed down, and they will be taking our first map of Lijiang Tower in 2-0 fashion.
Too little too late from the Dallas Fuel, I'm afraid. Kiss the spawn door challenge completed by someone as the Florida Mayhem look good. 2 rounds, and the second one was not particularly close. Mayhem, as expected, they're looking damn good out the gates.
What a dominant beginning here for the side of the Mayhem. Fuel from the outset on Night Market looking like maybe they were going to have this one in the bag, maybe. They knew how to kind of pilot around what Mayhem was bringing to the forefront, but as soon as they got control of that point, they did not really let it go away. So a dominant start, one that Fuel gonna have to think about during the break, scratch their heads, figure out what map they want to go to, and see whether or not they will be able to tie things up.
It's just a tempo shift coming through, right? Dallas Fuel able to get that initial neutral win on Night Market. Shove the pressure directly into the Mayhem spawn. And, well, once Mayhem take control, they're able to do the exact same thing back to the field.
And this felt like the death sentence moment, the commitment on the Amp Matrix into everybody just getting annihilated from the Fuel just by that one ultimate setup from Merit. And from there, as mentioning, you know, just that energy, that death cycle coming through. Hanbin unable to find his footing again.
I mean,
Put them right on struggle street.
It was an important fight where Dallas Fuel, again, they had the spawn control against the Florida Mayhem. Big grab from Hanbin, but was blocked out by every single ultimate, every single piece of utility that Mayhem had. Checkmate with the duplicate. Double bubbles coming online, shield up from someone. Yeah, Rig Rally in there as well. And that was a really important fight that Dallas Fuel needed if they wanted to continue that momentum, but it just couldn't get it done. So 2-0 so far in our opening map, 1-0 in the series. Kings Row, the Fuel pick. Something that will favor the Zarya on the ground.
Just a bit, but we'll see if it's going to be good enough to get through the defenses here of the Florida Mayhem when we come back, so don't go anywhere. The action continues in just a few. And we are back. It's time to get ready to go into map number 2. Florida Mayhem kicking things off with a dominant win on Lijiang Tower, 2-0 to them. Dallas Fuel onus now on those players to answer back and look to tie things up.
It's going to be Dallas Fuel. They need to find an answer to the two main compositions that the Florida Mayhem have got on board for us. I mean, the Rhine saw that a control center. Sigma yesterday played a lot versus the Houston Outlaws. Night Market, pretty good look for the Florida Mayhem. Did struggle a little bit at the start. Good tempo from the Dallas Fuel, but again, once momentum started shifting towards the Florida Mayhem, they were the ones spawn camping, and it was very difficult for Hanbin on the Zarya to get any sort of leverage. No energy, continual deaths. Now to Kings Road, flat map, on the ground. What you want for a rush team, what you want for a brawl team like the Dallas Fuel.
See if the pick is going to be good enough to go ahead and get the win, or if Fuel are going to be trying to set themselves up for some more of that reverse sweep voodoo magic that the Spark have been using. Either way, I don't think they want to get put into that position. They got a clean win just yesterday. They want to try to turn things around starting from now.
The thing about the Dallas Fuel as well, I mean, spending a year in the East, there isn't the same level of brawl versus brawl type of matchup that they can practice. I mean, you're going up against Florida Mayhem, who look extremely well practiced on the Rhine, something they've been preparing for this particular tournament in the playoffs, knowing that Zarya was going to be good. Look, someone could play Zarya, or Rhine is pretty damn good in Zarya as well. It's going to be the Sigma choice again. And these are the two comps, right? It's either going to be the Sigma or the Rhine versus the Dallas Fuel. Fuel, at the moment, pretty much just going to play the one thing. There is another option I could considerably imagine for them. Maybe Hanbin goes back to the Junker Queen, play a little bit of the TP coming through, get into the back line, run past someone, commanding shell, get Sparkle deep in there to finally take down the back line of the Florida Mayhem. That is still an option for the Dallas Fuel a little bit later on, but for now, they want to see if they can make the Zarya work one more time.
No changes necessary here for the side of the Florida Mayhem. And Dallas Fuel, Edison just going to go for the opening shot. Now back over onto the Bastion. Sparkle off the Genji here with the Symmetra, wanting to have that mobility, wanting to be able to take this high ground away. TP now going to be set up to go for the rush up onto the high ground. Barrier out, and Edison going to be taken down. Sticky bombs out from Checkmate, find the kill in the first volley. It holds no water at all as Merit will collect 3 on the back end.
Florida Mayhem just turtle back, go towards the choke. Dallas Fuel, they can TP on the high ground, but the problem is you can't TP behind the Florida Mayhem when they themselves can walk backwards, keep someone in that front line. And for Hanbin, Junker, we talked about this could be a possible look, and a single fight, a single TP play, it's back to Zarya, and now they've slowly grind out the fight on the ground. The Florida Mayhem, high ground controlled. Merit's going to be difficult for Fuel to dislodge.
And some steps here onto the point, someone getting tagged up, but Chorong and Rootball not going to be too upset about that. Just go ahead and soak up all that extra ult charge to try to get that window online. Edison getting taken down low, Sparkle as well as he tries to contest up top. Breaks that line of sight, pulls back away, gets top back up. First tick getting ready to come through. We'll see if the contest is going to be there. It's just checkmate at the moment, but now it's going to be joined in. Someone drops down to low ground, and Merit will find Hanbin. Without that tank, without those bubbles, trying to approach this point becomes nigh impossible here for the side of the Dallas Fuel. You can see Edison trying to do something, trying to backpedal, trying to escape. The accretion will go underneath of his feet. Doesn't get stunned up. The respawning Hanbin will be able to rescue him a bit with some of those bubbles, but still, it's Florida Mayhem barely giving up anything at all.
And now with the lack of the Symmetra TPs as well, Dallas Fuel, they have to consider their strategy. Last time what we saw, Hanbin tries to solo pressure away the point itself. Sparkle doing a decent amount of poke on the sides. They want to go up on top, but Florida Mayhem, they just hold their positioning. Now they got damn near 5 ultimates. MCD needs to set up for a window, can he?
And there's the first one. The Flux comes in. We've been seeing this combo throughout the weekend, and no bubble is enough to try to save Edison. Sound barrier a bit too late there from Blizzard, try to keep that Bastion in the fight. Window set up here onto the high ground. They're pushed around the hotel side, but trying to get out of this position. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it. They're still rushing forward. Hanbin still getting tagged up. Has a lot of energy. Someone's still trying to just push forward up into his face, but now he's overstepped. He gets taken down. Checkmate with the dupe on Lucio. Not sure if that's what he wanted to have. Either way, he's going to be broken out of this one or have it expire pretty damn soon. He tries to buy himself a little bit of time. Sound barrier does get built up. He drops it. It's a solo ult for himself just so he can try to slide the hell out of this point. Ticks now coming through for the side of the Dallas Fuel, and it seems like maybe finally they can go ahead and take this for themselves.
And Mayhem had the right idea, right? You see the window drop down from MCD. Someone pushes ahead of it. You want to get in front of the window, run into the hotel possibly, but Dallas Fuel, they just hold on strong. They allow someone to come in. They start surrounding the Florida Mayhem. A couple of late deaths there means no real opportunity for the Florida Mayhem to go for a retake. Difficult to do with the Sigma anyway, especially when you've lost the ultimates. holding strong there. It was looking pretty tricky when they lost Edison, but Harbin says we can still move up.
Scouting, trying to see if there's somebody hiding around that corner. And there is. Blade now going to be pulled. Bubbles to try to escort Sparkle forward. Immortality Field going to be coming down quickly down with his Hanbin. Manages to beam it out of existence, but Merritt has a return fire. Finds Sparkle. Finds Edison for 2 quick kills, and Hanbin cannot escape. They try to set up for the play, but it ends up falling flat. And once again, Dallas Fuel find themselves in a respawn room.
You only get one opportunity there. You get one blade and then into the bubble. You can't bubble Sparkle again for some time. And if he gets whip shot backwards, I believe Churong does connect that one. You have Florida Mayhem walking backwards with someone holding up the hand, despite Hanbin being able to damage through it. Nothing else really can. Even Sparkle slashing blades at someone. It's not going to be enough. He's going to get pocket healed. So Dallas Fuel, they could not close up into the backline of the Florida Mayhem. That is the issue right now. And Hanbin, he's got to grab. Has to make sure it doesn't get eaten away.
Needs it to not get eaten, but also needs to try to build up some energy here to go alongside it. Does lob it in, but it's going to go wide. Doesn't manage to get the catch on anybody. Now someone takes out Edison. Hanbin dead on the back end. And it's all crashing down at the moment for the side of the Dallas Fuel, who failed to find purchase once again. Yep. MCD, well, they'll do him a little bit of a service there by taking him down. They could have staggered him for way longer, but either way, the time is ticking. It is draining down rapidly.
Just a bad read, unfortunately. Hanbin thought there were members inside the room on the left, but not the case yet. They want to run past the Sigma. That was their one opportunity to look. Someone's pushed up. We don't have to get this guy. No reason to risk the grab being eaten away. Even if you go on to someone, he's going to get pocket heal. Run to the back line. You need to get Churong and RuPaul, but time and time again, the supports from Mayhem end up evading.
Window committed to try to escort them forward here into the choke, but now the Flux is coming through. Sound Barrier dropped in from Bliss, trying to keep them alive. Hanbin's still going to be very low on HP, nearly gets picked off. But despite the ults invested, Dallas Fuel have still not broken through this choke point. Artillery fire up over the top, looking to try to take somebody down, but the rally's going to be rolling from Churong. He keeps them all alive, the green HP. Pushing forward, just empowering the rest of his team, and Dallas Fuel still on struggle street. Every ult they throw at this choke, none are helping them break in.
And there's more cycling goals coming online. I mean, look at RuPaul nearly onto another window. Checkmate can copy the Zarya, offer up some frontline support. Might need to do it now. He's looking at Hanbin. Hanbin's half HP as well.
Stuck into the corner, but the sticky bomb's not going to be able to do enough damage for him to try to push forward and get the beam out. Now the window's going to be coming through. RuPaul investing that one. Immortality Field taken away from the side of the Dallas Fuel. Stuns there on to Edison. The cleanup kill comes across. Now Checkmate in around the back, laying the bombs down at their feet. Hanbin will be able to answer one in response, taking the Echo out of the fray, but he himself is isolated, dealt with, dead. And the chaos, the carnage continues at the hands of the Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, they're losing members too quickly here, despite the high energy onto Hanbin. There's no teammates alive. Grav is nearly there once more, but they struggled to use that last time, and they're getting outcycled on ultimates. It's RuPaul that has a window earlier. MCD only getting it now. But on the offensive side, look, Dallas Fuel can force a window location. They can force the angle. Florida, they can pull back. You can give up payload distance just to make sure that MCD doesn't get value on his ult. Sparkle's already half HP.
Artillery coming out. Sparkle taken low. Bubbles come across to try to keep him alive, but again with that artillery layered in on top, Edison cannot survive. Sparkle finds nothing. Hanbin finds death, and MCD and Bliss find themselves running to the hills, trying to escape, but they cannot. Taken down, 8 seconds remaining. The respawn still coming through.
Beat out
Edison desperately trying to swap over, trying to get this touch. A couple seconds remaining, drops down, gets forced back, and I don't think he's got it. No, he does not. That is where the cart will rest. That is where the Florida Mayhem need to go to take this 2-0.
And I think Florida Mayhem, pretty sure they knew that if Dallas Fuel would have had ultimates in that fight, possibly Graviton Surge. I mean, Hanbin hasn't used it for a while. He's been doing damage. He's been high energy charge as well. RuPaul knows, okay, he's used this window, which means the next window coming up has to be MCD. The way y'all play the Dallas Fuel is say, someone, Flux, guarantee value on the Flux, find Edison, lift that bash in the skies, drop down the artillery strike coming through from Merritt, and that's enough. That's how you enable those kills. And then MCD finally drops window. It's too late. Too many members are down. Too many members are caught out. Sparkle blades on half HP. That's the level of desperation, unfortunately, for the Dallas Fuel.
We're just seeing the panic buttons getting hit consistently. The Dallas Fuel not finding their footing, not finding that comfort that we saw from them just yesterday. As we'll take a look back here at Sparkle, like you said, low on HP, down to 69, pulls the blade. And from there, the ult combination comes in for the Florida Mayhem to just rip them all asunder.
Yeah, and he can't really go into the back line, doesn't have the support. Bubble's already been used. Obviously, isn't going to get any healing there. sees the backline of the Florida Mayhem, switches target back into someone, and we've seen this play out time and time again. They cannot access the backline, they refocus target onto the Sigma, and they cannot kill the Sigma.
I think we know that the far up likely going to be swapped off. Would love to see it, but just a couple shots, a concussive blast, but we do see Hanbin making an adjustment here. Comes out for the defense with the Sigma.
And that's one thing that Dallas Fuel can look towards because he's a brilliant Sigma player himself. In fact, he should be better than someone on this matchup, given this historical context of their hero pools. But our Dallas Fuel practice, I don't know how much Sigma they play.
Rushing forward, Accretion comes in, someone going to be stunned up the Immortality Field, thrown down from the side of the Florida Mayhem, but the fight widely still looking to go the way of the Dallas Fuel. Some damage across, however, it's Sparkle going to fall, and that's going to be a 2-for-1 trade-up. Now equalizes, Chorong will get taken out by Hanbin, but he himself is low. Tucks away inside of the stand. The shield comes in, the timing from Hanbin, absolute perfection. Checkmate cannot find the elimination, and with the cleanup on to Merit, it means that Dallas Fuel will be able to stave them off for the first volley.
It's been a long time since we've seen Hanbin lock the Sigma, but it looks really good still. Crucial timing on the shield there to block out the extra damage, surviving that fight despite so many members of Dallas Fuel looking low. They were looking like maybe they're going to lose that fight if Hanbin dies for sure. The point is probably lost. Another opportunity here. MCD finds the first window. They're going to look for the off angle.
Well, TP up on top of the theater. Edison not quite going with them here, just looking to create a bit of a crossfire. Someone does get knocked low. Immortality Field again going to be coming through. RuPaul now offering up his own window to try to counteract. So far, not much value going to be found. Bliss stunned up, the Accretion hit from someone, nearly finds the elimination, but Edison will take down Merit. Someone dazed as well. Ends up getting cleaned, and that's going to be the team kill coming across as Dallas Fuel continue to hold the line.
Yeah, now guess what? Hanbin and Edison can play that combo that someone and Merit were doing a little bit earlier on as well. The damage difference so far between Hanbin and someone on this new round is very much in Hanbin's favor. 4 ultimates online, MCD with a window that didn't buy them enough value, but it still allows them to win the fight regardless. RuPaul burned his earlier though, so hey, it's still 1-1. Florida's still down ultimately.
Someone again, you can see all the approaches here, getting big and low. Flux gets the catch onto one. Chorong trying to pop the rally, try to stay alive, and Merit ends up falling to the wayside. Edison cleaning up that kill. Backpedaling now, Hanbin still just looking to hold the front lines and keep everybody protected. Shield Bash sets up for the sticky bombs to come across, but not enough damage, and Checkmate now isolated off into the side room. Can they hound him down? Can they get rid of him and find that stagger? We'll have to just wait and see. Push forward out through the hotel. You can see Edison trying to find a target, but Checkmate somehow finds Hanbin, and now Sparkle in a rough spot. Stuck between far too many shells. Gets taken down alongside Bliss. And Florida Mayhem now manage to break through, get their own team kill, and get the cap.
And that's double support ultimates online for Dallas Fuel, so I feel like they had a little bit more to play through in that particular fight. Nothing extra ended up coming on through. Photon Barrier from Sparkle would have been useful. But the Flux into the artillery combo, once again, Merit finding value, and now comes the Ryan. I don't think Hanbin can stay on the Sigma very much longer.
He's unscouted. No one's noted him so far. Bliss, he was just facing this direction. How have they not seen him? Secret Agent Checkmate still unnoted. Hanbin, he was just glancing in this direction. They finally identify that he's there, and he gets taken down. I was going to say it's either going to look genius or it's going to look foolish. Unfortunately for him, he's overstayed his welcome.
Dallas need these ultimates to be giving them big value because neutral in this fight, you favor the Ryan comp. The Ryan comp is going to be able to beat down the Sigma more times than not. Both teams, window available, a lot more damage coming through from Hanbin's team composition, given they have the Sigma as well.
He's up over the top, TP back away. Cart opened up a little bit of space now. Duplicate here on the Sigma. Checkmate gonna try to get that Flux online. Taken low, nearly broken out of this one. Kinetic Grasp gonna be used. Merit in the meantime, TP'd on top of Sparkle finds the kill. Stun across onto someone. Checkmate now onto the low ground, gonna be broken out of the duplicate. And the Dallas Fuel will be able to clean things up, once again staving them off. But the card is just 3.4 meters away from that box of victory, and there's 2 minutes and 40 seconds left for the Mayhem to play with.
Really good TP coming through Dallas Fuel. Get that off angle in play. Careful not to C9 in that situation as well. Here comes the Checkmate May. See if they can catch Hanbin off with a well-placed wall. They have their own. Oh, they have a sound barrier, maybe the artillery coming online soon, but it's not really going to be enough. A lot more online for Fuel at the moment.
The Photon Barrier now going to be coming in, full charge here for Sparkle. Focuses down the Immortality Field into the Ice Block, goes Checkmate trying to stay alive, gets a little bit of health back, but someone going to be taken out. Now Merit falling to the wayside as well. MCD going to be the one casualty thus far for the Fuel, but it seems like the rest of the team should be able to stand firmly, but no, Sparkle going to be taken down, Bliss as well falling. That's that taxi that could have gone back to try to recover MCD, now gone, and now the rest of the team is going to get apart. Someone is pushing forward, rushing back over. Flux has to be used in desperation from Hanbin. There's the artillery though. Edison striking from the shadows, finds two. He completely shuts down the retake.
Yeah, Dallas needed that for sure. That was really close. Someone comes in to save Checkmate, who ice blocks away, and that could have been player advantage for the Florida Mayhem.
They need to heal him up. They're just trying to push him away from the car with the artillery fire. Immortality Field's going to be dealt with. Now the beat's going to be dropped on either side with the shielding already expiring here on the side of the Dallas field. Blizzard nearly there. Sparkle Hanbin struck down. The shatter hits the floor. And so too do the hopes and dreams of the Dallas Fuel.
Took a while to get there, and it was getting a lot more tricky for the Florida Mayhem towards the end. But the payload distance on Dallas Fuel's attack was simply not enough. They needed a lot more distance to play through because it seemed like the Dallas Fuel were finding comfort in the Sigma, but unfortunately, eventually, the Ryan Cop might just squeeze them out. Hanbin gets low, start walking forward, take some space. You don't have any space realistically to give up with your Dallas.
Sure.
Hanbin has to come back in, and it all breaks down. There's a long time for them to hold us off because unfortunately for them, A was not the best defense for Dallas as well.
Certainly not. Now the Fuel find themselves in a very uncomfortable position, one that they wanted to avoid at all costs, like Hangzhou before them. They need to try to pull up a reverse sweep if they want to stay in this upper side of the bracket. Otherwise, it's going to be down into eliminations for them. That's an immense amount of pressure that they don't want to have to try and deal with at this point.
I mean, I like what Dallas are trying to do with the Sigma. Good comfort pick for Hanbin, obviously. They still have the TPs, creatively using the TPs as well. They won fights with that. Unfortunately though, Mayhem, I think they've got the better countercomps. When you see Hanbin on towards Zarya, someone will play the Sigma. You see Hanbin decide to go over towards the Sigma, someone swaps over towards the Rhine. Dallas need to find a winning matchup. They need to be able to either win those mirrors cleanly, which they've been sort of able to do, or if you do force a swap onto Mayhem, you have to beat them when they are counter-comping you, because otherwise, look, you could go back to Zarya, that's not really going to work out. Ryan is probably decent in the matchup anyway. You have to believe that Hanbin can beat the someone Ryan in that particular matchup, use the creativity of those TPs to get yourself away from the Ryan, somehow survive against these Merit barrages as well. That artillery from Merit, with or without the flux, they've been deadly.
They absolutely have been, and cleaning up during that previous highlight. And someone just ending the map in style, but this is one of the things that we were talking about. One of the things that the desk was talking about is that flexibility for the Florida Mayhem that's a little bit more lacking on the side of the Dallas Fuel, but something's got to give. And it needs to start on Saravasa if they want to try to turn this around, at least pick up a map win for themselves. Otherwise, it's looking like Mayhem might just deliver us a blowout.
This is a fast map as well, and Dallas got some decision making to do. Do they just want to roll out on the Sigma straight away? Because I think Zarya has been figured out. That is becoming a bit of a liability for the Dallas Fuel. As you can imagine, one of the easier teams in this playoffs to read in terms of what Dallas are going to play. And well, now that both the comps have been kind of figured out, they need to decide what is going to be their game.
Now, Saravasa on the horizon could very well be the last map here of this series and of the day. Unless Dallas Fuel have something to say about it, we'll see what they've got when we come back from the break, so don't go anywhere.
are just defaulting to that far too quickly. Too slept.
Ungodly connection there with the Rampage. And Harbin, he's come up with the goods again. And Fielder goes down. It's going to be Sal Barry ready for 4 points. Michael's down. Went 3. The Dallas Fuel Overwatch League champions.
Visions of a bygone era, and one that the Fuel would love to find themselves in once again, trying to lift the trophy for back-to-back seasons. But right now, they find themselves on struggle street, down 0-2. And the Florida Mayhem have just been in the driver's seat for the entirety of this series so far.
Especially on that first map, it was not a close Lijiang, unfortunately, and Kings Row start to get a little bit more competitive once you start to see the Dallas will switch up the compositions, but Merit's been enabled a lot by someone. When someone plays a Sigma, especially you look at the Sigma versus Zarya matchup, what someone is able to do is put himself in the front lines, use the kinetic grasp to really absorb the damage of Edison, and that allows Merit to win a lot of these trades. And these opening fights as well, we look back at the Dallas Fuel trying to rush down this Florida Mayhem defense by TPing into them, group your entire team backwards, put Merit into turret form. And Dallas Fuel just can't walk in, and we saw a lot of these moments on the Dallas Fuel attack, but they just could not access the backline. You can't get Chung, can't get to RuPaul, could not find Merit, and then on top of all of that, all the combos as well. Whether you have the flux or you don't, you're seeing the value on the artillery strikes.
At 31 eliminations and only 6 deaths, that is some damning statistics for the Fuel on the opposite side, who just have not really been able to deal with him, to displace him and try to get him out of these fights. But now it all comes down to this for the Fuel. Servasa needing to be the turning point for them if they want to pull off a reverse sweep or even just get a map win under their belt.
Need to do something here. They looked good versus Infernal yesterday, but the Mayhem are a far different beast. Far stronger beast as well, heavy favorite to win the entire playoffs, and currently leading the series comfortably as well. No map completion onto Kings Row, but we did see a glimmer of hope. So what can the Dallas Fuel do with that glimmer? They need to figure out what their comp is going to be and if they can actually counter somehow the Florida Mayhem.
Let's see what they're going to be piecing together as we get ready to take a look at these compositions. And right now it's looking like maybe we just end up with that Sigma head-to-head once again.
That looked to be the best so far for the Dallas Fuel. I think if you're someone on the Florida Mayhem, you default to the Sigma as well, because if you end up getting that Sigma versus Zarya match, you know you're comfortable, you know that's good for you. If it's a Sigma versus Sigma, that's still fine. Florida Mayhem can possibly beat out the Dallas Fuel in that mirror. If all goes wrong though, Rind is still in the pocket for someone. The Florida Mayhem have 5 points potentially on this map to make that change happen.
All right, gates now going to be opening up for what could very well be the last map of this evening, but I think everybody here in the audience wants to see some more. We'll see if the Dallas Fuel can in fact deliver.
Sparkle needs to be very good with these TPs. Get the off angles in there, because otherwise Checkmate is going to find the off angles with the Echo. Burning down members, huge kill straight away. Merit is exactly what the Fuel want.
Now right off the rip, Edison giving him a taste of their own medicine as man and Chorong. Now someone all going to be falling, a triple kill over to him. And Sparkle and Hanbin will get a piece as well as the extended team kill comes across, and Merit instantly moving over onto the Sojourn.
See if anybody else changes here as well. Yeah, there's the Ryan, like I said. If all goes badly for the Florida Mayhem, if they don't want the Sigma matchup, they will go over towards Orion and a brawl matchup where they're not even going to think about the Bastion anymore. I don't know if that's the correct move for Florida Mayhem. Typically, I think you still want the Bastion here, but they value the speed, the precision, the one-shot capability of Merit. Let's see if we can find it.
Tagged up a bit. Barrier already going to be dealt with here from the side of Hanbin. Wall up to try to cut off their exit path. Rail at the ready. Merit trying to time his shot, trying to find an elimination. So far, it's just going to be the Immortality Fields exchange on either side. Checkmate someone. Both going to be taking low. Merit now knocked down to half HP, and someone dealt with as Hanbin comes up with the goods. Checkmate will be able to get on top of Edison, finds that elimination for his squad, but the window's set up from MCD. Just looking to continue to shove back the Florida Mayhem, not give them purchase on this point with Checkmate falling. It seems like Dallas Fuel are very well poised to go ahead and take this first one for themselves.
See who else falls here as well. Someone's still on the way back, but there might still be late deaths. Fuel not finding it at the moment. TP been burned there as well. Someone has to learn his lesson. You can't just try and pin into Armbin, but you can pop the window down. Merit finds a kill.
And that's
All
Blitz.
from Sparkle was too late.
Very close to having that sound barrier available. Now Troran can take the lead and potentially have it, but no, Hanbin cleans up someone before that ult can get built up. Now RuPaul going to be taken down as well. The healing cut in half. Merit up onto the high ground, has the ult available, but ends up falling to MCD. The cleanup will come through, and this first flashpoint goes the way of the fuel.
Yep, it was going to be slow going for the Florida Mayhem. Remember, they had to change composition, which means they were going to be slower on ultimates. Some are getting bullied out as well. A lot of space for the field to play through. This is where Sparkle on the sim is really nice. You can get yourself out of dodge, you can find the off angles, and if the Mayhem Ryan Cup wants to get aggressive, you have the accretion to stun someone out of the pin. That's very important for Hanbin to hold on to. Sparkle, you can TP your team backwards as well. And I think you're starting to see as well the Sojourn pick for Merit. I mean, this overclock better be really good, because otherwise, Bastion in the neutral is far superior.
Very early beat coming through here from the side of the Florida Mayhem. The shielding now going to be expired. The Flux gets dropped in. Someone hits the floor, but managing to stay alive. Artillery fire from Edison, just cleaning up that immortality field, but you can see the HP bars right now just continuing to get dwindled here from the side of the Florida Mayhem, but Merit again finds Blitz with a rail shot. Opening kill, but is it enough to try to get them forward here onto the point? Wall comes up, Checkmate finds Edison. 2 eliminations now found, and Hanbin corralled into the corner, dodges out with that ice block to avoid the accretion. The cleanup comes in, Florida Mayhem can now take control.
Crucially, just before MCD found ultimate there as well, you have Dallas Fuel looking like they were forcing the Florida Mayhem back, but someone gets away on 1 HP. There's no trade kill for Blitz going down. 4v5, and Dallas Fuel, they want to walk forward, but someone's been healed up now. Shield has been recharged to full. Merit Sojourn pick, finding value there, justifying the swap from the Bastion onto the Sojourn, and now
Twice in a row.
Mayhem, they have that Blizzard on point.
Just continues to pick Bliss off. Checkmate, forced into the ice block, wall comes up. Burned through here by this windowed up Bastion.
They gained no ground, Dallas Fuel, they popped an ultimate, they can't walk forward.
Nade was big, but Immortality Field was there to try to keep everybody safe. Someone down about half HP. Now, barrier out from Sparkle. Someone cannot keep that shield raise. He ends up getting taken down. Blizzard is layered in, but the kills are looking far too good for the side of the Dallas Fuel. Checkmate is only able to find Sparkle on the back end. 68% built up here for the side of the Florida Mayhem as he and RuPaul look to answer back. Bliss going to be taken down, and Chorong drops the beat, just shielding up he and RuPaul to try to keep them in this fight, and Hanbin falls to the Lucio's hands. Up into the front lines goes Edison, up into the air goes Edison, and as he hits the floor, he will be able to take one with him, but someone takes him down. He will take him down, eventually. Stagger on the Bastion, there you go. Chorong will get it in the end. And that's going to be us tied up now 1-1.
Just as the point is capped there for Florida Mayhem as well, even with someone down, all that pressure put onto towards the Ryan, it's the support line of Chorong and RuPaul that clutch it through. And Chorong held on to sound barrier. He could have even saved it. He felt like they could win that fight. A 2-man sound barrier only for the sports was enough.
Oh, the TP out. Hanbin getting away, taking that ult out of their hands, but it doesn't seem like someone is not bust about. It still has that right little smile on his face. TP back forward now. To try to pressure out the Florida Mayhem, who have the inside track here onto the point.
No vision though. Look at the Florida Mayhem hiding beneath. The window doesn't see anybody to actually get kills, and Edison might have been caught out.
It was used onto the high ground, and they all had the drop down. Now Overclock pops here from Merit, looking for a target. Cleans up that teleporter. Bliss going to be taken down, and someone manages to get the pin. Flux going to be invested, but Immortality Field is there to keep somebody alive, so the Reinhardt still does not fall. But Edison eventually managing to find him, but then gets taken down by Merit's nade, who doubles up for another kill. Hanbin gone. The Dallas Fuel wiped, and the third point in the hands of the Florida Mayhem.
Yeah, Florida Mayhem, they just completely out-rotate away from the window. MCD, you got the advantage. That's what you want to be able to take the point, but Florida Mayhem went beneath the Dallas Fuel, and Edison as well on the sidelines. He somehow ended up on the side, away from his team. Looked like he was going to die. That was Lamp Force, I'm pretty sure, from MCD. With Bliss down early, it's not a lot of members left for the Dallas Fuel. A lot of pressure put on the MCD to put the remainder of the healing in. Now it's RuPaul's turn.
Swinging around the backside. Immortality Field dealt with. Now they have to backpedal their way off the point. Sound barrier going to be invested, but there's the Blizzard on the entryway to the point. Checkmate trying to slow up this attack. Blitz going to be frozen. Can they get the kill? They're looking to try to confirm it. Looks like he will be able to stay alive, and Hanbin's already been dealt with. Now Edison joining him in the grave. Sparkle only able to find one, and Bliss has to make his exit swiftly. Disrupting shot sent out. Bliss trying to go ahead and pave some kind of road out to safety. It seems like narrowly he will be able to avoid the lion's share of the Florida Mayhem members, but MCD is not going to be so lucky. RuPaul cleans him up. Sparkle now going to be gone. Bliss getting bogged down, taken out. The second point now, match point in the hands of the Florida Mayhem.
Checkmate's Blizzard is just such a tempo break for the Dallas Fuel. They're finally able to walk on towards the point, find themselves priority in that fight. But as soon as the Blizzard comes on through, your frozen members, Dallas will end up being split. And Florida Mayhem, easy pickings there. Member after member. Hanbin down early and no trades. Trying to get the kill into someone doesn't end up happening. And now the swap. As Dallas Fuel know they're in trouble, it's back over towards the Jungle Queen. They're not enjoying the Sigma into the Rhine, and that's the purpose of Mayhem going over towards the Rhine. But can the Jungle Queen be enough? This still isn't really that comfortable of a matchup. You want to brawl the back lines. I mean, someone's ready to swing. In fact, he's got a shatter available. It's a free shatter as well.
And he's going to drop it, finds Hanbin, puts him on the floor. The whip comes in, pushes him away from trying to get that pin, but now Hanbin's still low on HP. He's just backpedaling, trying to stay alive. MCD and Bliss just pumping out as much as they possibly can, managed to keep him sustained for the time being, but Florida Mayhem are already ticking up here on this point. TP across, window for window, awkward angles being exchanged, Bliss managing to find one, someone getting Sparkle, a 2 for 2 thus far. Hanbin and the supports left standing. Checkmate still here, however.
It's a stalemate.
It's a stalemate in the end, but it's one that Florida Mayhem are profiting from because they already have control. They're moving up past 40%, and now Bliss is down at the back end, and MCD is no hope in hell for him to try to survive. Someone might end up getting taken down. Hanbin's desperately trying to find this kill, but RuPaul is just spamming the right clicks, and now they're staggering the Queen.
Yeah, this is a brutal stagger zone. He wants to run off the map, find a little bit more ult charge. At least the Rampage will be available. I mean, Dallas Fuel, they got Chorong down early as well. They removed the sound barrier from that fight, but even then it wasn't enough. A 3 versus 3, but it was supports in Hanbin, and we're going to go early here. Overclock straight away, looking like another fight.
And Edison's just pushed up into the wall. He gets taken out. Someone finding that kill.
That's it, that's the last fight.
That Rampage, it's available, but can he actually utilize it? Can he get into a position to try to turn the tide of a fight? Because now it's just 3% left to go, and somebody needs to touch the damn point. No one can do it. And in catastrophic fashion, it all comes tumbling down. Florida Mayhem, however, will hold their heads high, delivering another dominant showing and keeping themselves in the upper bracket.
That looked too easy for the Florida Mayhem. They knew exactly what matchup they were going into. They had all the countercumps ready to go. And you could tell from the Dallas Fuel POV that they did not have the answers for the Florida Mayhem, whether it was going to be the Zarya, countered by the Sigma. You want to play some Sigma too? Fine, we can play the Mer, but then I'm going to play the Rhine. What do you have then? Go back to the Jungle Queen, not fantastic, into the Rhine. And the flexibility of someone, the flexibility of the Florida Mayhem in general with their preparation, their ability to play everything under the sun in this particular meta is why they are potentially the biggest threat in playoffs.
And the crowd goes wild for the Florida Mayhem, who continue their path of dominance towards a trophy. And for the Dallas Fuel, with this loss not out yet, obviously, this is not an elimination series that they just suffered a loss in, but this does mean that we get one of the oldest rivalries in the Overwatch League as an elimination matchup, the battle for Texas that the Fuel are going to have to try to fight their way through. But here is your player of the match. It is, of course, someone.
Yeah, he has had his hands wrapped around the neck of Dallas Fuel basically the entire game. One of your MVP candidates for 2023. Looking damn good in this matchup, 3-0, had full control in the series. Played a bunch of different heroes, still has a bunch more that he could have played through unrequired versus the Dallas Fuel. And unfortunately, not a single close map there from the Dallas Fuel. I mean, going toe-to-toe with Hanbin, even in the Sigma, that's impressive.
And I think one of the things that impresses me the most about just Florida in general, but someone in particular, is the willingness and the swiftness that he has when it comes down to just changing characters, being willing to go to something else to try to get that counteraction. We're seeing a bit more rigidity from the Dallas Fuel, and Hanbin took a while for them to shift over and actually start running that Sigma that was looking so clean. But as soon as that comes out, someone says, okay, I've got the Rhine in the back pocket. So being able to make those fast pivots just looks so incredible for him and for their team.
Looking like a perfect team so far. I mean, honestly, they have the flexibility, they have the player talent to play through as well. They have an MVP candidate. What more do you really want from the Florida Mayhem? They're on point so far, and the Dallas Fuel unable to really even make a scratch up against the Sphinx squad.
I mean, I think if you're a fan of the Florida Mayhem, what more you could want is probably a trophy. And right now, they're on that road. They are looking good. If they can keep up that form that we've been seeing from them over the last 2 days, then by God, maybe it'll happen. But hey, I mean, you and I, we're here for a good time, not a long time. 3-0 for us so far. Maybe we'll get a long series. But now, for now, we'll go ahead and throw down to Danny, who's standing by for a post-match interview.
Thank you, Seth and Avril. What is up, everybody? I'm here now joined by someone from Florida Mayhem. Great job. You guys have been killing it throughout the playoffs. I just want to start off this interview by asking you, it's against the Dallas Fuel. Did you guys have anything? Yes. Season MVP candidate. You know what? I'm going to change up my question. Why should you be the season MVP this year? 자, 질문하려다 질문을 바꾸겠습니다. 팬분들이 너무 원하는 것 같아서 시즌 MVP 왜 서먼 선수가 되셔야 될까요?
일단은 다른 지금 MVP 후보보다 제가 더 증명한 게 많은 것 같아요 지금.
It's simple. I feel like I've proven a lot more compared to the other MVP candidates, so it should be me getting the season MVP. All right. This match, I just want to know how did Florida Mayhem prepare for the Dallas Fuel today, knowing that they were going to, start off the match with the Zarya competition. 자, 오늘 경기 좀 어떻게 준비를 하셨나요? 아무래도 달라스가 원래 좀 지금 플레이오프에서 계속 자리아 조합을 좀 많이 썼기 때문에 좀 다르게 한 게 있었나요?
일단은 저 조합은 저희가 제일 먼저 했던 조합이거든요. 그리고 제일 잘했었고, 근데 이제 안 하던 이유가 다른 팀이 그걸 다 파괴법을 찾았고, 그래서 그렇게 막 걱정은 안 했던 것 같아요.
The Zarya competition that Dallas has been running, it's sort of it's the competition that we started using, and it was the competition that we were really good at. But the thing that we stopped using it was because a lot of teams were able to find the solution to fight against that Zarya Cup, and I think that was a key to how we were able to defeat the Dallas Fuel as well. All right, and with this win, now you guys, Florida Mayhem, are in the semifinals. So, I want to ask you, why should other teams be afraid of the Florida Mayhem? 자, 다음 질문은 이제 준결승전까지 가시게 되셨습니다. 다른 팀들이 플로리다 메이햄을 무서워해야 할 이유가 있다면 뭐가 있을까요?
솔직히 딱히 생각나는 건 없는데 아마 탱커 차이 때문이지 않을까요?
I can't really think of a good reason, but I do believe there is going to be a bit of a tank gap between the teams. That is a fantastic answer. All right, that is it for us. Thank you so much. Let's head back to the desk. Zoe, take it away.
Thank you!
Thank you.
우리 두 명 좀 느려.
백TV
래퍼. 하자. 루시오 오자, 루시오.
I cannot be if they push. Okay.
올리 루시오 캔트, 올리 루시오.
루시 밀었어?
잡자.
루시보다.
백TV
나이스! 가보자.
Well, that was exciting. Yeah. Winning moments from the Florida Mayhem. We're back here on the desk. Danny joining us once more. Jake and Johnny here as well to break down all the action of the day. And what a day it was. We had to say goodbye to two teams, and two teams now advanced to the semifinals. Both pink. Throwing it out there in case you're interested in some color theory. But yeah, Florida Mayhem looking very, very confident and very dominant on the server. Someone once again making just a case for himself, not just for MVP voting, but just in general. What a guy. What a guy.
I mean,
what a character.
What a character. And the fact that he can play so many different heroes.
Yeah.
Because we're sitting here complimenting the Sigma.
Why?
Oh, come on over here, Danny. Come on, Danny.
That's our guy.
The Florida Mayhem.
It's our guy.
Danny was
It's
on the case with
Florida
someone
man.
at the start of the season.
MVP.
They got your back.
You got him. You got him.
They want it.
Thank you guys. I see you guys. Thank you.
I mean, Danny did at the start of the season say that someone was going to be the MVP. So maybe that will be the case.
Maybe.
It's starting to look really good for someone.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like the obvious core of his team's success, but there's so many amazing pieces around him that I feel like are a huge part of that too. I feel like Merit's hit scan, being so consistent from the snipers to a much more team play oriented hero like Bastion is a great asset for them, making them so consistent no matter what he has to play.
They just feel indestructible, to be honest with you. Like, they feel like the juggernaut. Like, what do you have to do to stop the Florida Mayhem? I'm not that surprised that they took down the star composition from Hanbin. And going into this match, I mean, we established that this was going to be dominant from the Dallas Fuel. But later on, as the series progressed and we saw Hanbin swap over to the Sigma, we go, okay, this is a look from the Dallas Fuel we haven't really necessarily seen before. We saw the Symmetra come out, and suddenly we got a matchup on our hands. And that's when someone swaps over to the Reinhardt. He can play the Winston, he can play the Ramatra, which he has done all season. but being able to bring out the Reinhardt as well and kind of already counter what Dallas Fuel, what was supposed to be their answer with this composition right here. Like the Florida Mayhem, they just look on top of it. They just look comfortable, whatever their opponents bring them. And with this dominance, like they have to be the favorite to win the entire thing.
I mean, if you're looking at the compositions we've seen so far from them, do you actually think that any of the team could throw a wrench in there? Is there anything that would be uncomfortable taking the mirror in?
This is funny to say, but I feel like the one team that actually wants to play Florida is the London Spitfire.
Yeah!
Right now, with the way this meta has shown to develop, right? Okay, Florida thinks Sig can beat everything except Rhine. So as soon as Dallas goes Sig, Florida goes straight over to the Rhine. They want that matchup. They believe in it, which to me means for Florida Mayhem, all roads lead to this Reinhardt battle. And so we could see someone and Hadi clashing with the Deutsche Hammerman. I mean, you would think that would go towards Hadi, but someone has been electric this season and even more so in the playoff.
Deutsche Hammerman was German Hammerman?
Deutsche Hammermann. Yeah, that means German Hammerman.
German Hammer? Or German?
No, it means Hammerman.
All right, so
Hammerman
Korean
means
equivalent.
Hammerman. I know, it's crazy.
I'm trying to think of a Korean
Intense.
equivalent for someone.
Yes.
한국 망치맨.
Oh,
Yeah,
There you go. Korean Hammerman is 한국 망치맨.
Okay, listen, if you can barely pronounce it, I'm not even going to attempt it.
한국 망치맨.
Yeah.
That is.
That's the one. That's
Thank you
the
so
one.
much, Danny. Thank you,
Well,
Danny.
hammers will be thrown down for sure because someone is still in it and London is still in it to win it as well. Let's take a look at the bracket to see what just went down in bracket number 2. Dallas Fuel initially looking very dominant against the Seoul Infernal, but then going up against the Florida Mayhem. Man, did Mayhem make quick process of them. So, yeah, that was a rough time for them.
And now, Fearless versus his former teammates, just like he said that he wanted.
We get a battle for Texas
Yeah,
out
battle
here.
for Texas.
Yeah, fantastic.
I want to see what kind of look Houston brings in this battle for Texas. I think right now, with the meta that Florida Mayhem has shown, it seems like that worked insanely well against the Fuel. Can you just replicate that and do it again? One challenge, though, for the Outlaws is that I think Fearless would be the Rhine player, while Bernard would want to play Sigma. So if Fuel can find a way to catch them out on the wrong player in the right map, right, maybe that Sigma rush comp could work out. I think the Doomfist is very hard to play against it. However, even if you've got the right comp for the Dallas Fuel, I think the individual playmaking, I mean, Houston made even Florida sweat in a very difficult comp matchup for them. So I don't think you can count out players like Pelican and Happy on the Echo Soldier.
Yeah, I mean, this match was a 3-0, but I really did feel that when Dallas Fuel made that swap over to the Sigma with the Symmetra, that they were actually cooking. They were cooking, and they might have not perfected it,
Cope.
but it is something.
That is a cope. That is
Sorry?
a cope. that is a hard
An
cope.
Outlaws fan saying cope?
No, that was a cope, though.
I really do think that
Gotta
the Dallas
call
Fuel,
a
they're
cope when
still
you
in
see
this.
it.
Dallas Fuel are still in this. That's all I'm gonna say. This is
All
going to
right.
be an epic battle for Texas.
All right, yeah, we're staying in the kitchen. We'll continue to cook, and so will the teams. Let's take a look once again at bracket number 1 to see all the insanity that went down here. Of course, the big surprise, the absolutely electric team, Hangzhou Spark, taking down one Western team after another. It was Atlanta Rain falling on their hand, and then the Boston Uprising right after that. Both of them 5-map bangers, and now the Spitfire have to once more go against the Uprising.
Third time's a charm!
Yeah, that's also cope. In case you needed a real cope display, this one is it.
I don't know. I don't even know what they're gonna. I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna go Rhine Rush, right?
That's
and
shocking.
I'm pretty sure Watson's gonna go with the Orisa, right? For the 3rd time. But hey, I don't know. London, have an answer, please.
So,
This is high intensity Overwatch. This is it right now.
I mean, 40 uninitiated. I mean, Boston Uprising beat London Spitfire in the play-ins bracket.
3-1.
Boston
Convincingly,
Uprising beat the London Spitfire to start the playoffs.
3-1.
And now they're playing them for a 3rd time in like,
Losers
what,
final?
a month?
Yeah.
And London
like a
has
week.
London just doesn't have an answer. It would be a miracle if they take down Boston for the 3rd time to charm. Like, no.
But what
Surely
a
not.
script that would make.
I'm gonna be
Imagine.
praying so hard tonight.
Yeah, pray. You gotta bring more than a prayer, I think, for this one. But we are sure to be in it for a treat. And of course, the big story has to be Hangzhou Spark.
Yeah.
They have exceeded everyone's expectation. Emotions running high. And I mean, you understand why. 2 best of 2 5-map series is they're reverse sweeping not once but twice in the playoffs. That is absolutely incredible what they've shown us today.
I mean, the one thing with the Hangzhou Spark is that it's starting to get a little bit tough to run these Winston compositions, because when we look at their potential opponents, right, it's either going to be the Dallas Fuel or the Houston Outlaws, right? And both of those teams have shown that they're pretty adept with these off-tank compositions. So yes, they took down the Atlanta Reign, who tried to match the Winston. They took down the Boston Uprising, who tried to match the Winston. And we're seeing what they're capable of when Liv gets to play the Tracer, when Shy gets to play the Sojourn. They might not be able to play that same style in their semifinals match. So Hangzhou Spark, they're looking really impressive. And they're going to have to defy the odds once again in their semi-final matchup, whoever it is.
But they did it once, they did it twice. I'm sure they can do it thrice.
Sure,
Why not?
3 times the charm.
Exactly. I'm coping with you, my man. I'm coping with you. Let's actually take a look at the schedule, because tomorrow we're in for a treat. We're going to have more elimination matches. We know you love them. London Spitfire and Boston Uprising are going to battle it out. The Houston Outlaws and the Dallas Fuel right after that. So 2 very exciting matches. Which one are you most looking forward to?
Oh, come on, Zoe.
Not you. No, I know your answer. Like, I'm not even go there.
It's the battle for Texas.
That's what I'm talking about,
okay.
baby.
The battle for Texas.
Wait to let me down.
That's what I'm
Rainforest.
talking about.
I mean, Danny, you can say London. I'm going
No.
battle for Texas, baby.
No, I'm going for Battle for Texas as well.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I
We
guess
haven't
I
seen it
take
this
the
year.
other one.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, because they've been in a different region. And
And Dallas
that.
Fuel
Season
weren't
Madness,
that
yeah.
good.
For the other
Earlier
match,
this
though, for London, it's hard not to have a sense of foreboding, right? It's hard not to feel, as a Boston fan, that, okay, like, we did it twice, just run it back. And honestly, that last series, the first round of the playoff, that was even more dominant than the playoff, or the play-in series, rather. So Boston looks like they're gaining momentum in that comp. Their confidence is going to be super high. You could argue maybe it's shaken by the reverse sweep, but for me, Boston never have looked out of sorts at any moment in the playoffs. Even losing that reverse sweep, as tough as that is, they didn't look defeated or resigned. I think they're still going to come back ferociously in that next series.
yeah, there's too much experience on that roster. If you look into those players, this would not shake them up, especially not if they have a whole night to, recoup and just come back fresh tomorrow.
Right.
Let's see what London can throw of them the third time they're meeting. The drama, of course, is not just the matches tomorrow. We're also awarding the Alarm Rookie of the Year and Coach of the Year award tomorrow, so you really don't want to miss it. It's going to be an incredible day number 3 here in Toronto, Canada, and we can't wait to be back again with more action. We want to thank all of you for joining us here, not just in the arena, but also on stream. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again, same place, same time tomorrow. Goodbye.
안녕. Bye bye.